Holy shit, would you look at this? Clinton campaign and Democratic Party help pay for Russian Trump dossier. You know what dossier they're talking about, at least I hope you are. That would be the dossier in which they accuse Trump of hiring Russian hookers to piss all over a bed that the Obamas slept on, and then he ended up having to excuse himself so he could go to the bathroom and yell about how he hates black people and like to watch anime in footy pajamas or some kooky shit like that. Yeah, but remember when it first came out, we thought that 4chan was behind it. Well, I guess 4chan could still be behind it. But, yeah, that just makes it even funnier. Basically, the fucking Clinton campaign hired 4chan to cook up some fucking shit like this and just fling it their way. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on into reading. Washington. The presidential campaign of Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee paid for research that was included in a dossier made public in January that contained salacious claims about connections between Donald J. Trump, his associates in Russia. A spokesperson for a law firm said on Tuesday that it had hired Washington-based researchers last year to gather damaging information about Mr. Trump on numerous subjects, including possible ties to Russia on behalf of the Clinton campaign and the DNC. You smell that shit? You smell that smells like that smells like I told you so. You know, and I'm not saying specifically but pretty much anybody who wasn't pimping this fucking dossier was saying, look, this is bullshit. It's it's faked. It's far-fetched. And if you believe in it, then yeah, you must have ate paint chips as a kid. But yeah. Anyway, moving forward. A spokesperson for a law firm said on Tuesday that it had hired Washington-based researchers last year to gather damaging information about Mr. Trump on numerous subjects, including possible ties to Russia on behalf of the Clinton campaign. Already read that, dumbass? The revelations, which emerged from a letter filed in court yesterday, filed in court on Tuesday, is likely to fuel new partisan attacks over federal and congressional investigations into Russia's attempts to disrupt last year's election and whether any of Mr. Trump's associates assisted in that effort. Spoiler alert, they fucking didn't. It's a bullshit claim. It's fucking crackpot. I mean, it's the same Reds under the bed shit from the 50s and 60s. You know, the president and his allies have argued for months that the investigations are politically motivated. They have challenged the information obtained in the dossier, which was compiled by a former British spy who had been contracted by the Washington research firm Fusion GPS. The letter that was filed in court said that Fusion GPS began working for the law firm Perkins Cole. Is that? I thought that was Cole. However the fuck you pronounce that. In April 2016, written by the firm's managing partner Matthew J. Geringer. The letter said that Fusion GPS had already been conducting the research for one or more other clients during the Republican primary contest. Perkins Co. was paid $12.4 million to represent the Clinton campaign and the DNC during the 2016 campaign. According to filings, the role of the Clinton campaign and the National Party in funding the research for the dossier was first reported on Tuesday by the Washington Post. And yeah, my God, they did a shit show. Oh, look at this fat bastard right here, yeah. So, you know, what is this going to mean for for the future, I guess, you could ask, well, in a perfect world, it would mean this Russia collusion shit would just get dropped, and maybe some more effort could be put into, I don't know, just trying to run this fucking country, or trying to work together, both parties working together. Sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained. In a perfect world, that would be the case, but I doubt it's going to happen here, because, these motherfuckers have clamped on to this Russia conspiracy bullshit like a bulldog clamps onto a mailman's ass. They are not letting go. They're not. So, who knows? But then again, if it keeps fueling some comedy like this, I ain't got no reason to bitch, because that's just content for me to make. Alright. Moving on. At the time that Democrats began paying for the research, Mr. Trump was in the process of clinching the Republican presidential nomination, and Ms. Clinton's allies were scrambling to figure out how to run against a candidate who had already weathered attacks from his Republican rivals about his shifting policy positions, his character, and his business record. Well, you can't. Really and truly, Trump isn't a Republican. And if you... fuck it, I'm going off into the weeds. I ain't gonna do that. Fusion GPS hired Christopher Steele. Christopher Steele. That just sounds like some fucking 007 knockoff. It's like Beretta Steele's retarded brother. Anyway, Fusion GPS hired Christopher Steele, a respected former British spy with extensive experience in Russia, to conduct research into any possible connections between Mr. Trump, his businesses, campaign team, and Russia. Mr. Steele produced a series of memos that alleged a broad conspiracy between the Trump campaign and the Russian government to influence the 2016 elections on behalf of Mr. Trump. The memos also contain unsubstantiated accounts of encounters between Mr. Trump and Russian prostitutes. And real estate deals that were intended as bribes. Oh, God. The retardation in this dossier is just stewed to a perfection. But anyway, moving on. Here we are. The contents of the memo circulated in Washington in late 2016 and were briefed to Mr. Trump by senior American intelligence officials during the presidential transition. The memo, which became known as the Steele Dossier, were made public by BuzzFeed, sparking an ongoing debate about the accuracy and about who funded the research. Well, we know now, don't we? Fusion GPS was started by 3 former Wall Street Journal employees. The firm worked directly with Perkins Coie and its lead election lawyer, Mark Ellis, according to the law firm spokesperson, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive information about the confidential business relationships. The law firm's payments to Fusion GPS for the Russian research ended just before Election Day, the spokesperson said. Yeah. The spokesperson said that neither the Clinton campaign nor the DNC was aware that Fusion GPS had been hired to conduct the research. When it first came out, I just thought, just wait. Back in January when this dossier made its rounds, I just thought, just wait. The DNC or somebody is going to be behind this. Like, this is going to be like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Def Mom, or something to that effect. Well, no, I take that back. It was Donna Brazile at the time, I believe. the thief in the night bitch. So, Fusion GPS. Where was I? Neither Clinton campaign. That's where I was. Okay. Was aware that Fusion GPS had been hired to conduct research, which we now know is bullshit, more fucking lies. Earlier this year, Mr. Ellis had denied that he had possessed the dossier before the election. Anita Dunn, a veteran Democratic operative working with Perkins Co., said on Tuesday that Mr. Ellis was certainly familiar with some of it, but not all of it. But not all of the information in the dossier. But she said he didn't have and hadn't seen the full document, nor was he involved in pitching it to reporters. And Mr. Ellis was not at liberty to confirm Perkins Co. as the client at the point. Mrs. Dunn said. 1 year later, and I still love looking at these fucking pictures, man. So, Brian Fallon, this dude right here is, fucking around on his iPhone, who served as a spokesman for the Clinton campaign on Tuesday, wrote on Twitter that he did not know that Mr. Steele had been working on behalf of the Clinton campaign before the election. If I had, I would have volunteered to go to Europe and tried to help him, Mr. Fallon wrote. A lawyer and spokeswoman for Fusion GPS did not respond to requests for comment. A spokeswoman for the DNC sought to distance the National Party from the work, noting that the party chairman, Tom Perez, was elected only after last year's election. He and his leadership team were not involved in any decision-making regarding Fusion GPS, nor were they aware that Perkins Co. was working with the organization, said some foreign person, the DNC spokeswoman. The work by Fusion GPS on the dossier has come under scrutiny from congressional investigators who have questioned one of its founders and subpoenaed its banking records to try to determine who funded the research. And that's when the fucking lid got popped off of this can of worms. Fusion GPS is fighting the subpoena in federal court, and this Mr. Geringer's letter was produced in connection with the legal case. In this letter, Mr. Geringer praised Fusion GPS for its efforts to fulfill your obligation to maintain client confidentiality in the circumstances. However, we believe it is appropriate to release Fusion GPS from this obligation as it relates to the identity of Perkins Co. Oh. Mr. Geringer added that given the interest in this issue, we believe it would be appropriate for all parties who hired Fusion GPS in connection with the 2016 presidential campaign to release Fusion GPS from this obligation as well. Something tells me that's going to be that's going to be very fucking hard to do. Especially now, I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up and say that this is going to be like the nail in the coffin for Clinton, like the bitch is going to get locked up. But, yeah. Miss Trump is working for the Russians. Yeah, she was hiring foreign spies, pretty much. Her, the DNC, that whole fucking diseased and corrupt temple has Gerard Butler beautifully, to quote Gerard Butler's beautiful quote from Law Abiding Citizen. And if this goes any further, I think we are going to see that temple crash down upon this bitch's skull. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching. Peace. Yep.